Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a very important theory to discuss and too much information that I had to write a script that is 3 pages long. Anyways, let's get right to it. Crying child is the vengeful spirit. That's what this video is about. There is no way that Cassidy is the vengeful spirit, because she wouldn't have had access to William to possess him, whereas Crying Child had full access because William is his dad, so he would have been there when Crying Child died. Also, Ultimate Custom Night voice lines, they say he's here and always watching, the one you shouldn't have killed. Keyword he. Now, I know that Scott said that it could be either a young boy or a young girl, so Crying Child being the vengeful spirit is not far-fetched at all. To be honest, Cassidy being the vengeful spirit is far-fetched. We hardly know anything about her. She doesn't seem that important. Also, you see in voice lines, Nightmare Freddy says, I was remade, but not by you. By the one you shouldn't have killed. Hinting about what William promised to do to his son. Why would Cassidy know about this? Also, how would Cassidy know what the nightmares looked like? Only Crying Child has seen them, so it makes sense. And Crying Child has a bigger role in FNAF than Cassidy does. We find her name in the survival logbook, but hear about her in one of the novels in the original trilogy, but that's all we hear about her, where Crying Child has a game all about him. Cassidy has nothing. Plus, I don't think that anybody has batted an eye at this, but in Ultimate Custom Night, you can customize the office, but you have to unlock them. And the last office customization, the FNAF 4 bedroom, which Cassidy has not seen, only Crying Child has. So why is William being tormented by nightmares, along with Fredbear, in the FNAF 4 bedroom? Because Crying Child is the one who possessed William. Plus, when you try to death coin Gordon Freddy, you get jump scared by Fredbear, which further implements the theory. If it's true that the vengeful spirit is possessing both Afton and Gordon Freddy, then it makes sense. You try to death coin the very thing that is tormenting you, and you get jump scared by the thing that killed the spirit that is possessing you. Getting jump scared by Fredbear proves the theory. Cassidy hasn't seen Fredbear, but Crying Child has. It was the very thing that caused his death. Plus, Crying Child has a motive. His father created an animatronic that caused his death. Then as he was dying, his father promised to put him back together. Crying Child found out what his dad was doing, and William didn't put him back together. So Crying Child felt betrayed, and he wanted to teach his father a lesson. Plus, for the picture of the vengeful spirit, Scott used a picture of his son. For that. Suspicious, right? And if we go to the books, then we have Book 5, Story 3, The Man in Room 1280. We hear about what William is experiencing, and we get a visit from the vengeful spirit. A young boy with black or dark curly hair wearing an alligator mask. And who do we know from the games who is a boy with dark or black hair, who cries a lot? The alligator mask could be used to hide the tears. The book says that the mask only goes to his nose, so it could be covering tears. Plus, it's described as a shadow, which one of the nightmares say, the shadow fears me. I believe it was Nightmare who says this. But anyways, he's talking about Crying Child. When Crying Child was dying from his bite wound, he was afraid of Nightmare because Nightmare was death. And so the shadow fears me is drawing similarities. Plus, back to the Fazbear Fright books, in Book 6, second story, titled The Real Jake, a boy, presumably Crying Child, is dying from a brain tumor. But every night he talks to his friend, who they talk about what the real Jake is doing. This friend is a voice coming from his cabinet, which is a stuffed animal plushie, presumably psychic friend Fredbear, who has a walkie-talkie connected to Jake's father's walkie-talkie. So it is Evan, Jake's dad, talking to him. This further proves that the famous FNAF 4 line of I will put you back together is coming from William to Crying Child, which helps Cece's motive. And back to Alligator Mask, and Man in Room 1280, Andrew the vengeful spirit is described to be wearing an alligator mask, which only goes to his nose, which means that his eyes are completely covered up. Why? Because if Scott didn't describe Andrew with an alligator mask, he would have had to describe Andrew's eyes. I don't know Cece's eye color. I think that eyes are disgusting, so I don't pay attention to them. So help me with Cece's eye color. But anyways, which if he did, Andrew would have had the same color eyes as Cece, plus tears. But with the mask, Scott could use it as an excuse to not have to describe Andrew's eyes. It's a perfect covering up scheme. There's too much evidence for Crying Child not to be the vengeful spirit, And please share this video with other people and maybe send it to MadPat. Tell him to mention my channel name so he can make a video over it. I feel like I have hit a stack of War Dynamite and it's pretty spot on. If this is true, then Scott would be surprised that somebody who is me has gotten one of the most important pieces of lore. And there is no way that I'm wrong. And I will stand by this until proven otherwise, which I doubt because I'm right, or so I think I am. Plus, Scott doesn't like to confirm things. He could just confirm it to me and I'll keep it a secret so you never know. But anyways, this took over a year of finding evidence and whatnot to confirm this, and I hope your minds have been able to look at FNAF lore differently. And so thank you for watching, and subscribe or Foxy's very fine self will sneak into your house augmented reality style and will hook you to death. And remember, it's just a theory. A crying child is the vengeful spirit theory. Thanks for watching.